As always, happy to be here. First, I want to talk about when I am in the now, I recognize myself because I feel there are mixed sensations in my brain, in my head, and all over my body. And then I recognize myself that I lose myself when I start to doubt. So,
Well, we just had that conversation, didn't we?
yeah, here's where I want to go.
But what we mean is
Okay.
the conversation that we just had is the basis from which we can take this one further. When you are allowing yourself the convergence or blending with the whole of who you are more, you feel more, you know more. But when you are focused upon things that your inner being is not, then you lose that connection, and that's what doubt is. Doubt is the emotion you feel when all of you isn't having the now.
I always want to be more. It's like, I want to be there. That's the problem, maybe. Just wanted to be there.
So let us put your mind at ease a bit.
Okay?
The reason that we were excited to talk about step 5 is because we do not ask you, we know that it is not possible to be in physical form and be without resistance. And we also know that not only is it not possible to be without resistance, you would not want to be without resistance, because without resistance you could not identify or focus clearly your desire into being. And so there is nothing wrong with you moving about a little bit in this spectrum. It's a matter of understanding it. And once you understand it, that is enough. Of course, you want to practice it for your personal satisfaction, but not because someone else is evaluating you and judging you and feeling disappointed about it. And that's what we feel from you as we are having this conversation. You and so many others are accustomed to seeing someone outside of you making the determination about what you are doing. And there is not any of that going on ever.
Yeah,
it's
and I know
all
that.
self-imposed.
Yeah, I know that when I am in my now moment.
But when you're not, you don't know
yeah,
it. So know it, and then you'll feel better.
Yeah.
We're going to play with all of you just a little bit by asking you why the reluctance to move in the direction of what feels best. Why that reluctance? And the answer has to be practice. I've just practiced myself into some resistance. But now you have this knowledge, you won't practice it without being aware of it. Your guidance system is kicked into high gear. With the conversations that we have here in a gathering like today, you have activated your resonance with your inner being significantly enough that you will never again deviate from the fullness of it without knowing that you're doing it. Now, what you do next is your choice, but it isn't a choice for you to punish yourself over. Sometimes Esther says, I'm Henri and I'm choosing to be Henri, and leave me alone. I've decided to be Henri. And sometimes being Henri for a day makes her appreciate being tuned in the next day. There's nothing wrong with you moving about. If you were on your high flying disc all the time, you would lose your ability to know where you are. If you only saw light and there was no dark, you couldn't focus your camera. There has to be hunger before there's even an interest in eating, usually.
Yeah.
So just be easier on yourself about it. Don't ask for perfection. Relax into the joy. Jerry's statement always, and Esther offers it to herself every day, just molding it into place, just molding it into place, just molding it into place. And the place that you're molding it into is a place of comfort, the place of satisfaction, the place of clarity, the place that feels the best. That's what you're doing. But how do you know if there's not something to measure it or feel it against?
Well, I know it when I in the now.
Yes.
I know it.
Yes.
My brain is going to explode. There are gasmic sensations that are all over, so I know when I am there.
Yes.
I want to ask for something. I'm here with infinite intelligence, so I want to make a momentum in the thing that I want. Because I never speak about what I want, and right now I want to speak about what I want.
We'll hear you.
Yeah, so the thing is, like, I want to clarify, amplify the subject of I want to build a career about being myself, about being able to help people just by being an example of being selflessly myself. And I want to write a book. I just want to be like that. I want to be free of all the stuff.
Have you lived anything where you weren't being that?
Yeah.
So you have some examples of what that feels like?
Yeah.
And do you have examples of how different things occurred to you and you overcame that?
Oh, thousands.
So you have a lot of material for a book.
Yeah, a lot of material.
Yeah.
For a lot of books. The thing is, yeah.
And so,
And so the thing is, like, when I'm not in it now, I'm punishing myself, saying like, nobody's going to read it.
well, that's getting a little old, isn't it?
Yes, totally. Yeah.
So why don't you cut it out?
That's why I'm here with Infinite Intelligence, saying like, I want this momentum going, and to have something to anchor my head when I get this stuff, because it usually comes.
The thing about having a desire, like writing a book, in the gathering of the material for the book, sometimes there's emphasis upon what isn't working at the same time that you're finding the solution for what is. And sometimes that can put you in a sort of not moving in any direction place. And so there's a little bit too much empathy going on with those you are trying to help. And therefore, you're holding yourself sort of where they are, and that's why the inspiration isn't taking over. So if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would say to ourselves the following sentences, not word for word, but this is the idea that we would be presenting to ourselves. I'm figuring it out as I go, and the inspiration is coming more and more. And I or no one will ever figure it out all at once. And I didn't come here to figure it out all at once. And I'm doing so much better than I once was doing. And I have such deep understanding about much of this. And now I'm at the point where I really want things to come out of the vortex and into my present experience. I really want to be the deliberate creator of my own experience. I want to actualize the things that I have been philosophizing about. I want the thoughts to turn to things. I want the thoughts to turn to things. I want to put my money where my mouth is. I want to be an example of what I know to be. I want to be a living example of someone who's tuned in, tapped in, turned on. I want to stand in alignment even when things come up to me that would ordinarily take me into a negative place. I want to hold my alignment with my source. I want to hold compassion for others rather than be so empathetic and go where they are. I want to be the deliberate creator of my own reality, and I want to witness it when others are being that too. I want to revel in the value that I have as I am offering myself into this world, and I want to look for value wherever I see it across the spectrum that is this life experience with all others. I want to fulfill my reason for being, which means I want new contrast in order to inspire me to new desires. But I also, more than anything, want to be in alignment with how Source sees all of this. This is my quest. This is what I'm about these days. I want to be in more consistent alignment so that the things that I've put into my vortex can be revealing themselves to me. I want this understanding to turn into something that not only I can see, but others can see too. Because I am a teacher and I cannot teach what I do not know. And I know that there are masses out there that are wanting to understand this, that are wanting to know what I know. And so it is my powerful intention that no matter where I am, no matter where I'm going, no matter who I'm with, that I'm going to look for what I'm wanting to see. I'm going to get my guidance system activated in a way that it has never been activated before. I'm going to feel the power of the relationship between me and me. I'm going to know relative to every subject because I'm going to take the time to feel it. What my inner being means about this and what I mean about this in relationship to what my inner being means about this. I'm not going to be sloppy in my thinking. I'm not going to be lazy in my thinking. I'm going to be more precise in my thinking. And most of all, I'm going to begin to feel about me like my inner being feels about me. I know my inner being knows that I can do this. I know my inner being knows that I'm worthy. I know that my inner being knows that I have put so many things in my vortex, and my inner being is wanting them to come out where I can see them and play with them and where others can too. I know all of these things. I'm just now ready to stop talking about it and to begin doing it.
Oh.
Because I know that I am the creator of my own experience. I have the power to be deliberate in what I am about. I want my guidance system to count for something. If I feel negative emotion, I don't plan ever to ignore it again. I'm going to say, I've got negative emotion about this, which means my inner being has a different opinion. Inner being, what is your differing opinion about this? I now have the knowledge. It's time for me to apply it.
Yes. And
Really
it's
good.
because my inner being knows who I am.
Yes.
Because I feel it.
Yes.
So that's the best thing.
And
of all.
you know too. You often know too. We just did a rampage.
Yeah.
Leave it there. Don't talk yourself out of it.
No, I don't want to go anymore.
Really good.